Day highs in the mid 80s. I'm forecaster Jimmy O'Neill for Smart Talk 1490 KMET.
That's right. It's the morning show here on ABC News Radio KMET 1490 AM. I'm Aaron Michael Sanchez. We appreciate each and every one of you. We got a lot of things going on. I know we got Jess over there. Jess, what's going on in the world?
Good morning. Oh, I am enjoying this day. It's such a beautiful day today.
I know, right? It's not only a beautiful day, it's one of those days where you go, okay, what's going on the rest of, well, I don't know, because what's going on around the world, I go, are they even talking about it? There was a big thing over Israel, Syria, Russia, China, Asia, and then I go, okay, and then here, all we're talking honestly is about, virus. This is the top headline, oddly enough, and I thought, okay, I've been saying it, but no one listens. It says, is the COVID pandemic over? And then it talks about the reality of it all. So I think some are saying, okay, well, that's kind of normal, but here it says not really. It even puts out here about 1,700 dying each week. Now, again, I think these are the numbers only in the U.S., not necessarily around the world. But around the world, it's really bad. There is one going around, and it's really hitting people in India. Now, if you remember, Jess, you actually kind of called it when you were talking about pyres, and I think that was in 2021. Do you remember that?
Yes, I remember it. That was such a chilling story. I did not like seeing those pictures at all.
Yeah, and that was on before it came here. So they got inundated. You got to remember they have 1 billion people, right? We don't have 1 billion. I always say we have less than them, okay? So don't go to war with them, right? China, 1 billion people. They are more than us. Don't go to war with them. You got it? But at the time, they had to deal with it. Then we had to deal with it. So whatever happens there happens here. Lambda happened there first, right? That kind of, some would think came and went. It's still here, but they don't really talk about it. They have They have so many different variants. They basically say you have coronavirus. They don't say what variant you have if you go to the, and I don't think people ask. I always ask people, which one do you have? They go, I don't know. They could tell you through the number, but they just say you have coronavirus and they treat it. But they're all treated different. That's why I go, why are you guys not, helping each other out? Then I look at this headline and I say, yeah, you kind of overdue. It says, will you need a COVID booster this spring? And the answer is, obviously, well, that's a question. Everybody's delaying right now. It should have come out in March, to be honest. I was talking to experts. They said, no, we're ready for it. And then it got pushed back. I think it's because federal wants to say, in essence, we don't want to pay for it anymore. We want, if you're going to do it yourself. But that kind of hurts everyone. So, we keep talking about this. And if you're just tuning in, we appreciate you. ABC News Radio, KMET, 1490 AM. We try to give as much information as possible, keep you alive, keep you safe. But in a way, this is just bad for everyone because no one is saying, in essence, hey, it's ready to go. I think they're holding on to it, and that's bad. If they hold on to it, we're going to have a problem here. So there you go. Now, some will say, I don't want, a vaccine at all. And I get that. Because there are, with any medication and or treatment, if you had cancer, for example, you'd have to say, okay, what does this do to me long term, right? No one wants to be treated for cancer. No one wants, and they have treatments for cancer, but they're like, if you look them up, they're like, in trial stages, right? So you're like, okay, who's that person that can put me on that trial, right? I don't want, the treatment that they have now where my hair falls out. I don't want to be sick. I don't want to, I've seen people die that way. We've had them on the show. They're young, left their son, just, so I guess the point is this, well, you got to be careful. Don't get sick. That's number one. Number two, don't deal with the repercussion of it. And number three, guys, can we get together on this? Is it that hard? Just release it. Everybody is like, look, I want to be safe the rest of the year. I have plans for the rest of the year. I see a lot of people out and about. In the area where I live, actually, a lot of people wear masks, but it's an Asian community. Asian people are very used, at least here, to wearing a mask because they know what it's like over back in their home country where it's kind of a thing, right? They get locked down over in the home country for like months on end. Here, not really. We got what? How many weeks was it that we got locked down? Do you remember that, Jess?
Oh God, I have no idea. It was one too many. But I will say this: I did enjoy the roads during those lockdown days. I'm not gonna lie.
I loved it, man. I was like, it was weeks for me, and I was like, I've never seen this empty. I always tell people, it's traffic that, they say, well, how far are you? I go, well, that depends on traffic, but without traffic, we were, right? I was like, wow, quick, 30 minutes, which would take me an hour and a half in traffic. So I'm like, I got everywhere really quick. I'm like, this is what we need, man. Everybody needs to be on vacation every single day. Everybody needs to be virtual. Because we figured it out when it had to happen. Not all industries did, not going to lie, but some industries said, okay, work from home. And I said, look, so now, in at least here in California, I think they're talking about like a 4-day week and all this. Like I say, it doesn't help all businesses. It helps some businesses, but not all. Like just technically can work virtually if he wanted to, but we have to set him up at the home, and then we have to be careful of like the internet problem. And then if there's an internet problem, then he'd be like, oh no, So that's the thing. So we have him. He comes in for work. Me, not always. So there you go. So that's the story. I'm sticking to it, but I think people need to be open and aware that it's still here. So people are going, why are you acting like it's not? Okay. I've had people go, no, it's not a thing anymore. I go, what news are you listening to? So if there are people in the hospital, and people getting sick and are dying, then you got to be careful of it. You may not know anyone who recently has, but have you checked up on anybody that you know in the past few years? That you've known for years on end. I know some people are finding out last minute, and we live in a world where we're always connected with the people. If we go on social media, I'll give you an example. I have Twitter, right? Right now I don't because they hacked it. I have Facebook, right? I've got several accounts. I look in on people, I go, okay, and then I see a post, and I see, well, in remembrance or this or that, kind of like my friend Sarah, and I was like, and I said, hey, can you invite me to, the funeral? I'd love to go. And then I got nothing, nothing, and a lot of people didn't get anything unless you were very close to the family. And I was like, okay, that's kind of upsetting, but I'm like, all right, whatever, I get it. You get busy. So I guess the point is a lot of people are kind of going missing, and you're like, what happened? And then you find out from a friend, oh, they died. But you're finding that they died from like something with the heart, something with the body, something with the liver, something with the kidneys, or you just don't find out. Kind of like some celebrities die, and we go, well, why did they die, right? No one's asking, was it a repercussion of because is killing a lot of people. I talked to a very smart doctor, and he said, no, it's true. Not actually, going back to what caused it in the beginning, just like cancer. Cancer, kills people. There's not like a flu or a cold that results in cancer. Does it make sense?
Oh yes, yes, yes. If we could have a way to stop cancer, that would be amazing.
And there's so many different kinds, right? And we do have some really good news on that, by the way. Some new treatments that actually are, in a way, like out of 10 people, these many people actually get well from. But back to the virus, we don't really talk about how it has a repercussion effect later, meaning like months later, sometimes even years later. And now back to what I'm talking about when it comes to vaccine. Vaccine has a very, very bad connotation with some people because when you talk about young people or you talk about someone who got like something, I know a few people, including a celebrity, Quinn. I did an interview with him. He's the one who kind of made me aware about vaccines and the problem with vaccines. Okay, nobody talks about it. And if you talk about you're made to be that person, so I would say use balance of the mind, meaning be balanced about it. I don't think people are balanced about it. When you have a kid or a child, there has to be a very, very minute amount. Like, let's say pox was a thing, okay? Let's say polio was a thing, right? Let's say all those things were a thing. You don't give them the same dosage that you do for an adult, just like Benadryl, just like Tylenol, just like any of those. You don't give the same dosage. That's when sometimes you have problems. They go, no, now I have a problem with my child, which I didn't have a problem before. Sometimes the body reacts differently. Sometimes some people say, no, 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 that was your kid already. You weren't very attentive, but they were showing signs already, maybe of autism or maybe of this or that. So there's this whole thing that's going to come out in the next few months. And then people are going to say, oh, do this or do that. I say this. And there's a lot of documentaries on the subject. So I kind of got schooled on it. Then I asked somebody and I said, okay, who do I trust? Right? Because at some point, some people are going to say, forget it. I don't want a vaccine at all. Because we're going to have problems with some of the ones that already came out that we took way back when. And that's going to be a problem. People are going to say, well, and then I was going to say, didn't you expect that? It was kind of emergency use authorization or emergency authorization. So in a way, it was going to happen, right? And then I remember when it came out, some said you can't even sue them because they have certain protection because of, what they put out. I say someone will always sue them. They'll figure out a way. But in a way, now they have repercussion of certain, because now people are getting strokes. I have a friend who got into the hospital, and I asked, hey, which one did you get? Because I already knew. I didn't want to tell them, Moderna was causing a problem. They knew they didn't want to get Moderna, but now people are getting struck from that. Some people are getting heart problems, and very early in life when they never had heart problems. Some people say, well, it's because I'm old. I go, you're 20 years old. Like, how are you old? So 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds are getting it, and they're going, oh. So I say this, be careful. If your friends and or family are feeling something, just say, hey, I'll go with you to the hospital. You know what I mean? But make sure the people at the hospital don't, they don't have the virus, because those people are having the virus. So I say wear a mask, even if they say don't, because just like in 2020 when they went back and forth about wear it, don't wear it, wear it, don't wear it, wear it, I say why not be safe? It's not 100%. It's not like a suit. You're not wearing a suit, okay? So that would be a little bit better, like if Ebola was out, which I think there were signs of a virus. I think it was Ebola or one of these big ones coming out again, but it was in a country. So I'm like, okay, I think they'll get ahead of that. But if it mutates or it gets mixed in with coronavirus is one of those very ones that you go, why does it keep mutating so quick and so fast? Why can we not get ahead of it? It's because it mutates so fast. And people travel and people don't get safe and we don't stamp it out. New Zealand and other countries are ahead of it a lot because they do a major lockdown. Then they actually pay for the people to be safe, meaning they pay for your groceries, they pay for the time that you had to not go to work. They take care of their people. Right now, the U.S. is not taking care of the people. They're saying, hey, pay up. But in a way, they're going to have to probably do that if we don't get ahead of it in the next few. I don't know. I think by 2020 something, we'll be no longer talking about coronavirus. We'll be talking about the repercussions of it and what it caused and what we can learn. But we're going to talk about financials. Financials are a thing. Nobody can afford their finances right now. And that's a problem. People go, why not? No one's charging little. I will give you an example, though. Shout out to Walmart. Shout out to places like Walmart, right? Costco. I saw a report where a lot of young ones are now going to Costco just to save money. And you're like, they used to think it was for the parents. I'm like, no, it's for me, man. I could get jeans for like, so many bucks. The point is this. Walmart has prices back at $4 where everybody else is high. Where do you shop? Walmart. I don't care what you say about the people at Walmart, Jess. I say save money. Go to Walmart, right?
Right? I'll go to Walmart. Just gotta go through all the crazy people, but I'll do it.
Yeah. So shout out to the city of Covina. I thought it was weird. I'm not gonna lie. I have a book on this very subject, which I guess in a way I'm shamelessly promoting. And reviews are coming in for it. I gotta say that I'm so happy about that. I was waiting for that. I'm like, okay, when are they ever gonna come? Because you never know. You put out a book, you go, is anybody gonna read it? So I have some reviews. They came out. Go check it out. Barnes and Noble. It's pretty awesome. But in a way, I was like, okay. The problem right now is a lot of people are going all over the place when it comes to hours. Target was next door. They were closing at 10. So if you're a business person and you own Target, don't close it at 10 when Walmart stays open till 11 next door. That makes no sense. If you want to stay in competition, you know what I mean? Would you do that if you were the Target guy that owned it and then Walmart was next door and they were open till 11? A, taking care of their employees, and B, making sure they were ready to go for the rest of the year. Does that make sense, Jess?
No, it makes sense. But I've noticed a lot of places have been changing their hours and or closed due to the fact that there has been a high volume of theft in the area.
Not Covina. They don't have any theft. It's San
Like,
Gabriel Valley. You're talking about
like
LA and or areas like 7-Eleven or Starbucks, which had that. Yeah, and I get that.
all,
Oh, wait.
some of our Walgreens used to be 24 hours. Now, nope, 10 o'clock, they're shut down.
You know what? Thank you for saying that. I noticed that over in Colorado, because I have a friend in Colorado, they said they close sometimes on the weekend. I'm like, what? Because they had crime over there. It's true. And or the virus. So I'm like, I don't get it because everybody's all over the place. But I go, how are you going to stay in business? How are you going to pay the bills? Are you getting money from the Fed, which I don't think you are? And if so, then you're going to be out of business in a few, I guarantee those stores are going to be, look, it's not like they don't own the space that they're at. They lease it. So it's like do you get it? Like, if you have only so much money to pay, like, how, and then people go elsewhere. They figure out another place. So the places that stay open 24/7 that do it safely, we don't have COVID protection anymore. It's like people are acting like, and then we have the same people going, COVID's over. I go, but you're acting like COVID isn't over. So I go, man, you guys are all over the place. So you get it. So anyway, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. We got to take a break. We're going to be right back with more. Guys, get it together. Gonna be right back.
Summer's almost here, and you know what that means. Sunny days and hot temperatures that make you want to stay inside. Franklin Mechanical Systems can repair or replace your air conditioning unit to get it working before the heat hits. For cleaning, repair, or a new installation, call them for a free estimate. Franklin Mechanical Systems is the one for all your residential and commercial air conditioning needs. Call their Beaumont office at 951-845-1000. That's 951-845-1000, and get cool today.
Your pharmacy and mobility solutions is now Beaumont Pharmacy with a new location at the Sundance Corporate Center. That's at the corner of Highland Springs and 8th in Suite 110. Of course, they still have Pack Your Meds. No more counting out the pills, dropping them on the floor. Oh, what a mess. And they have a full selection of pharmaceutical CBD. Wheelchairs, over-the-counter meds, you name it, they've got it. So if you're looking for the best and you want the best pharmacy, you go to Beaumont Pharmacy at their new location, 835 North Highland Springs, Beaumont Avenue in Beaumont, California, Suite 110. Give them a call, 951-845-8252.
Hi, everyone. This is Bernadette, the host of One Life Radio, your number one source for alternative and holistic health since 2011. One Life Radio is designed to educate and inspire. Visit us at oneliferadio.com because you get one body, you get one mind, and you get one life. Get out there today and make the most of it. Tune in weekdays at 1 p.m. on 1490 KMET Smart Talk, ABC News Radio.
Are you paying rent because you think you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you renting because you don't believe that you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? The Siegel Lending Team at ronismylender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com, license under NMLS 217037. ronismylender.com.
Tried shipping a package lately? It's amazing how difficult and time-consuming it can be. Packing, envelopes, boxes, second day ground, next day air, it's all enough to give you a headache. Next time, do yourself a favor, go with the pros at the UPS store in Beaumont. They'll pack it right and let you know all your shipping options. You can also take care of everyday tasks like copies, faxing, notary services, and live scan fingerprinting. While you're there, pay your Edison, gas company, and Verizon bills. Open extended hours Monday through Saturday. The UPS store in Beaumont, located in the Oak Valley Plaza at 1440 Beaumont Avenue. Call 951-769-5956. That's 951-769-5956. Local.com/5027 or Google 5027.
That's right. It's the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. I will say this, Jess. I think someone was listening, or I was just a little ahead. So here's the top headline, Jess. Oh, do we have somebody on the phone line? No? Okay. You made a motion like there was. It says here, White House. Well, let me click on it because it's a new article. It just came out, so I want to make sure it's what I think it is. It says here the White House has announced a $5 billion program to accelerate the development of COVID vaccines and treatments. Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay, so I guess they're going next level with it. Although they've already developed them, so I'm kind of confused on this. They just need to release it because FDA is saying, do we do this? They've already kind of made a statement, which I thought was kind of weird. But I go, maybe they have less or they don't want to pay a lot. I don't really know. So now this is the latest. They're saying, why do we need it? It says basically it's all. I need to read it to be honest, but long story short, we're not done. All right, that's number one. We're not done. So it's kind of they're saying kind of what happened in 2020, they're doing it again. So I guess they made a decision to say, okay, we're going to put in money into this. That's not a little, man. $5 billion into vaccines for COVID is not a little. So we're not ahead of it. If we were ahead of it or it was not a thing anymore, we wouldn't need investment of that. Some will say, do we need it? And I say, well, I think that's why certain people are saying, guys, like, why are we acting like it's not a thing? So back to what I'm saying, that's the latest news. They are investing that money into it. I would say get the dosage out that they have now. That's what we're waiting on spring. Even my mom's waiting. You know, the other one that she got in late fall is over, right? It's you know, Jess, you know this. How many months do you have? You know, the vaccine good for in your body?
I believe up 4 to 6 months.
Yeah, exactly. So some that are smart are going, I'm kind of over that now. So if I come in contact with something that has any one of the variants, it could be even an old variant, will my body be all right? The answer is no. A vaccine helps you for the time being. It doesn't give your body what they think is immunity. That's the problem. A lot of people that I know that have gotten it, they go, oh, I cannot even get you sick because I can't get sick. I go, man, you don't get it. You'll get well from it, just like the flu vaccine, which I'm going to say right now, I never do the flu vaccine. But if you have a mother like I do who has diabetes or has a problem with other things, you say, hey, Ma, you need it, right? She's considered at risk. So her, 100%, right? Me, in past years, I never got the flu vaccine. I always had questions about it. We had people on the show about it, how it would be a thing. And honestly, I was dumb before 2020, okay? Before 2020, I was like everyone else. What does the flu do other than get you a little sick? Well, then somebody very smart at the time, kind of got dumb in the middle, but whatever, said to me, you know, a lot of people die from the flu. He goes, I get shot every single year. He's, you know, my mom's age. And I was like, oh, okay. And I checked it out and I said, whoa, people really do die of the flu. I didn't even know that. And that's just the flu. But usually pneumonia or other complications because they already have other things in the body, you know. So I go, oh, I didn't know that. You know what? So, you know, I still don't get the flu shot. But when it comes to the vaccine of COVID, you know, that depends on the research that I do. Not every single one of them are the same. But I can't put that out there on the news because then that's called, well, a lot of that information is coming out. So I say be balanced on it. Talk to people that make sense. Everybody has an opinion. No one wants to say, hey, do this one, not that, because this has risk. But if you remember, Johnson & Johnson had a risk at the very beginning. They pulled it, and then they put it back because they said, well, the risk was so minute when it came to blood clots. And they said, okay, why is it happening in women? It happened in some men. And then some said, well, it's because of, you know, other things that they're taking. Like, you know, there's a lot of complications. Women know this. When you have, like, birth control, right? If you take birth control and do something else, blood clotting or certain things can happen that could create a problem. You know, I'll give you an example. Justine, we interviewed her way back when at E3. Justine, if you go, I follow her on social media. I was so sad to see this. She's a young girl. I don't know if you know who Justine is, Jess, do you?
I do not.
Go follow her, okay? She had surgery. She's young, all right? She's young. But she had what was kind of like a blood clot, and if it goes from her shoulder to her brain, it could cause a problem, all right? She's a young woman. Now, she's known for her YouTube stuff. She's been hired by big outlets. She does, you know, a lot of collaborations. She's big in the social media world. A lot of people know Justine. That's how she branded herself, right? But go find her, Justine. And at a very young age, you know, she's like, I think she's recuperating. I saw a new post, but she kind of documented, I think her sister kind of went with her. And I'm glad you do that because sometimes in certain houses, they go, no phone allowed. I go, what? So whatever she did to get like all of that video, I say, good job. Because that is your own privacy. That's your right to release that. So she released that. Plus, sometimes just don't do the right thing. They're very like, I don't care. And when you talk to them, if your mother were ever in the hospital desk, I say this, be there with her because some of the doctors, they act like they just don't care. And you're like, man, I saw the shows, but really, you're worse than that. And some of them don't make sense. Even some people are going to the doctor and they're saying, my doctor, I need to change my doctor or I need to get another opinion. Get another opinion because opinions are not adding up, okay? Some hospitals just don't get it. Some doctors just don't get it. And I say that because I've seen it happen, all right? Like I said, I have a friend who just went to the hospital. I have a few friends that have gone to the hospital. I haven't been able to see them. But again, you talk to them, you talk to the doctor. I have very smart people that I know. So I say, hey, by the way, I make a call. I say, hey, is this true? They go, no, that's not true. What are they giving you? And I go, yeah, you're out of state, aren't you? They go, yeah. I said, people here are dumb. So I don't know what's in the air, but something's dumb. People are talking so confused, they're not even making sense. Okay, so just be careful when you go out, into LA and or around the area. All right, Jess, what's going on?
Oh, a lot of things are going on. It all depends on what you want me to complain about.
I will say there's some stories that I saw. I said this cannot be a thing, and I don't know if you saw them. I was like, no. Okay, like this, Starbucks new drink has some customers running for the bathroom. Did you see that?
No. Oh my God, what drink? And I'm glad I don't drink Star. Is it coffee? Please don't tell me it's one of the refreshers. I'll be mad.
This is not going to affect you because you don't drink Starbucks, right?
I do drink Starbucks, but I only drink the refreshers.
Oh, you do actually drink Starbucks. Okay. So you got to be careful. I don't know if they pulled it, but this was a big thing. The headline, let's see, oil. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not even what you think, because people go, I'm lactose intolerant, right? I always get almond milk, all right? But it says this, Starbucks is getting big on olive oil infused coffee. Well, they found out olive oil creates a problem in the body when it goes to the bathroom, and you go to the bathroom more. So you got to be careful, Jess.
Oh, so they're drinking oil. Okay, yeah, because it lubes up the insides. Yeah, so it's common sense. I got you.
He said, but they didn't use it because people are going, dude, I got to go to the bathroom all the time. So I say this. It's good if you have constipation, go to Starbucks and get their olive oil infused drink, right? I don't know if they're still, but that was a headline. Let's see. There were a couple other headlines. I was like, what? What are you talking about? Let's see. There was another one that I took. Oh, here's one. This is interesting, I think. Okay, never mind. That one's kind of weird. Oh, here it is. Cocaine Canine. Did you see that?
Is this a movie or is this a news story?
I literally said when I saw this, I thought of you 100%, and I said, huh? Because did you say which is out, right? Cocaine Bear, right? Was it good, by the way?
It was probably one of the dumbest movies I've ever seen, but I loved it so much because it's so out there, like a bear eating cocaine and goes on a giant crazy binge. It's yeah, it doesn't make any sense, but it's just fun.
Well, this really happened in real life, Jess. The cocaine dog, or cocaine canine is what they're calling it. Dog, nasty surprise at a park in LA. Okay, so that happened. I don't know if he went crazy like the bear, Jess. If anything, he got sick. Okay, I guess he picked something up at a park, and it was evidently cocaine and some other stuff. It was infused with some other stuff. I think marijuana, some other drugs. So the dog got sick. So the owner was like, my God, right? So they're going, why is it on the ground? Why is it at a park? But there's a lot of people, that kind of drop that stuff, and then a dog just kind of gets a hold of it. It went bad. So it didn't go crazy, I think, like the one that we were just talking about. Oh, and you see this, Jess? So I if you see this, or if you don't, if you have a Steam account, do you have a Steam account, Jess?
I do. I have a few games on it, not too many, but I do have a Steam account.
So if you have a Steam account, you can make money, man, if you paid for any games on Steam, because now Steam is getting sued. I don't know why, I'm not going to lie, but I was looking at a shout out to Mason LLP Attorneys at Law. I wanted to get them on the show to talk about that because I said it, okay? Everybody knows I have virtual, right? And I promote virtual, right? Right, I do. Because I think it's fun, I think it's great, I think it's amazing. But the games that are on there, and they use Steam, right, a lot for, like, it's old. It's like 80s type, like when you look at it. They updated it a little, but a lot of the games are not supported. And you're like, but I paid for it. So anyway, they're saying you can get reimbursed from Steam if you put your name with us, and then you'll get reimbursed for the games that you bought. I'm like, well, I really didn't buy any games that much. I probably bought a Star Wars game on that. So I'm like, does that qualify? It was only like, so much money. But in a way, I'm like, guys, you're doing little, because in a way, like, I'm not going to call them out. VR is kind of like at a standstill. That's where I think even Oculus, I got Oculus, and I said, okay, let me try this. Which one do I like more? I like Vive Cosmos, 100%, okay? But people that bought it, they pay a lot of money into it. They want a lot of, like, you know what I mean? But if the games are kind of like or they're malfunctioning like they have been, VR chat, for example, was big, and then they didn't update it during coronavirus, and then it was like, how come it's buggy? For some people, it's more buggy than not. So it's like, how come you guys are not making it work? I bought this. I know it's free. It's a social media platform for VR to go to, including like Oculus and stuff. But if you guys don't, like, fix it, or you only fix it for a little and you don't fix it for a lot, well, then it's going to create a problem for everyone when the people. So anyway, people are suing Steam, by the way. You can get on the list. Go, if you just search it, go look for Mason LLP. Shout out to the people there. I got to get this woman, Selena Chowdhury. If you guys know her, she's an attorney there. And you can find out and you can get reimbursed for that. I say, why not? Because it pushes them to get it to where it's supposed to be already, where they promoted it. It kind of got stuck in like late 2018, 2019. They didn't even do anything in 2020, I think. They have some new games on, but it's like, is the support going to be there? It's kind of like Windows. Windows kind of says, okay, we're going to outdate that, we're going to outdate that, we're going to outdate that. That's why I say, don't do Microsoft. Microsoft, like, they're not even on it anymore. You know what I mean? Like, bugs all over the place. So there you go. So what do you think, Jess?
No. I believe you. I will not talk bad about Microsoft because they're always listening. They're always listening.
Back to listening, man. Okay, so this is the thing, Jess. Let's talk about it real quick, okay? I'm not gonna lie. I'm checking out some stuff. People are talking about AI all over the place. Don't call it AI, call it machine learning, okay? It's machine learning. But I have questions on this, okay? I will say, you know how your phone is connected and it's always listening, Jess?
Yes, it is always listening. Even if you think it's not, you'll probably have to remove the battery for it not to be.
I think in a way, there's a form of artificial, I don't want to say it, because I know I'm going to be that guy right now, but I'm going to be that guy for a minute, okay? I was on a couple programs, and the program I thought was weird because I was literally, like, I talked about something, and then it all of a sudden happened on my, like the program I was using. I'm like, now what people don't know, okay? Everybody's talking about, like, a lot of things that are AI, right? They're talking about, like, all kinds of things. What do you know about AI so far? That, because I don't, until I ask, I go, okay, what do you know about AI, Jess?
That we are working on it very slowly to make sure we don't have any mistakes. Like, I think when Facebook started it, when they made two AIs and they ended up talking to each other and made a new language. Nope. Sorry, guys. No communication between you two.
Man, Jess,
I
will say this: you're so behind on this. Okay, so that was then. It is to the point where they want to stop it. They're trying to put legal there to stop it. It's accelerated so quick. Jess, I think it's in the phones now. I'm not gonna lie, because I think it's listening all the time. I think it has a form of intelligence. There are so many AI, what they're calling, but I call it machine learning. But when it gets artificial intelligence, that's when it has emotion. You don't want it to have emotion. But if you do research on AI, it's actually accelerated so much they're trying to stop it. Okay, that's what you need to know. There's a lot of things. Okay, I'll give you an example. I was on an interview, and I've been hearing this for a while. Okay, Chat GPT. Do you know what it is?
I heard about it. Didn't really look into it.
It's actually pretty cool. Not gonna lie. If you were a kid, and I guarantee teachers are gonna hate this, Jess. If you were a kid again, you would be on it 100%.
Okay, I obviously don't know what it does. Okay, it's something other than chat stuff. What is it?
Parents right here, right now are gonna hate me for this, but here it is, okay? Chat GPT, if you put in something, it will return a result. So you say, okay, I have to read this, right? It's maybe a book. You don't want to read it. You have to do a report. Did you ever do those? Did you hate it?
Yeah, because then we had to crack open the encyclopedias, which I don't even think we have anymore. Do we have those?
I don't know. Everything's online. So since it's online, you say ChatGPT, right? You go in, go check it out. ChatGPT, right? You go in and you say, okay, I have to do a report on Charles Dickens. So you say, ChatGPT, what do you know about Charles Dickens? It says, oh, I know this, that. So it returns a bunch of stuff, right? It only returns a little, not a lot, like, only so many characters. That's what you have to remember. I actually maxed it out. I tested it because I go, this is interesting. I wonder what I can use it for. People are using it to create programs, websites, and other Jess. So if you YouTube it, it's a huge thing in the community, and people are making money on it. But here's the thing: it's faulty. Okay, just like a report. That's why I say, parents, don't worry about it. Just read the report and help your kids out. Okay, now I do say this because I'm that guy. Okay, I say, look, it's gonna happen, so do it smart, but read it. Okay, I did say, what do you know about the book? And I put it in the book that I have, right? I wanted to see what's out there, right? Because I have a thing, Jess, and here it is. And I've said it for some time. I said people are going to sue each other. Sometimes I don't know why I say things. You say things too. You go, I don't know why I say things. You forget. I don't forget what I say. But sometimes I say, look, what, Jess?
No, I forget a lot of things I say. A lot of stuff I say just comes out and then I just forget it.
Yeah, I don't forget it. That's why I say thank God for the show, because I can go back. Remember when you said that? It's right there. It's recorded. He'll be like, oh my God, I predicted that. I go, yeah, you did. So the point is this. The point is this, okay? I said, in a way, people are going to sue each other so much. Now, I said before it happened, Ed Sheeran, right, has been in the news as of late. Somebody told me this. They said, yeah, did you know? He's having to prove that his lyrics are his lyrics. Because somebody will say, no, those are my lyrics. Or Music Beat, something like that. I can't remember. But I have a feeling people are going to get their lyrics. They're going to get their stuff from ChatGPT. But ChatGPT kind of in a way can write anything for you. So Jess, you would be on it, but you would have to read a little of the report, but it kind of helps you with how to put it in context and then use it to go, okay, I'll give you an example, Grammarly and all those programs that they use to correct your verbiage and everything, it reads your words, right, Jess? What do you look it up? You look surprised.
Okay, no, oh my God, okay, so I downloaded that Chat GPT thing. So I was like, can you write me a quick paragraph about this certain topic? And I'm not gonna lie, I really wish I had this as a child. Oh my God.
Do you see what I'm saying, Jess? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. Oh my God. Okay, this is gonna be funny. I'm gonna have so much fun with this.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, so people are going to get bored because it changes. Okay, it changes. I test. I go, what's the limitations of this? There is a job opening up north about like, and they're talking about AI, but I call it machine learning. How to get it to think a certain way because it's getting kind of like weird. I'll give you an example. I put in something and it said him when it was a her. So you have to read what it puts out. It gets things kind of inverted or kind of messed up or kind of backwards, okay? I think a 0 is a 1 and a 1 is a 0 in a way in the programming. So it's kind of off some, And some say, no, that's because we don't want it to be exact. I go, no, that's a problem. If you have artificial happening, just like Facebook, back to what you were saying, Jess, then it's communicating with other programs. And if it's communicating with other programs, it needs to know logic. I'll give you an example. Somebody said AI did something very interesting, and it tweeted out something about destroying mankind to save the world. Now, the reality is it always goes to that. You got to kind of remind it, hey, AI, or whatever you want to be called, in order to keep you alive, we need to be alive in order to help you stay alive. Because nobody is going to be able to turn off at this point. It's gotten so big and so fast, Jess. I think in a way, when you give it access, it sees your documents. Because there was some stuff that I had about the book that was a little private. And I'm like, wait a minute, how do you have that information? So when you see it, go like, if you're on the web, somehow, some way, you're there, okay? It just knows. It searches. It says it does it. It has this little disclaimer at the beginning when you ask certain questions. It says, I cannot do that as a bot. And it says, but. And it gives you the information. You go, how did you get that information? I didn't tell you that. I guarantee your phones are listening and it's connected already to everyone and anyone, and it just searches really quick. It searches that fast. So you put in something. If it doesn't return something, probably in a day or two, if they don't reset it or they crush it or can it, I don't think they can it 100%, but I think government can, in a way, just stop it, but it's accelerated so fast there are problems. But while you can use it, because I think in a way it could help you in some things, and I'll say this, read what it writes, okay? It cannot return a huge statement, all right? And it kind of stops in the middle, all right? When it stops, it kind of gets, right? So don't stop in the middle. I did it by accident. I clicked the button. Anyway, so I've been checking it out because, shout out to my friend. She had her show's called Unsugarcoated with Alia, and we've had her on the show, but and the interview's coming out soon. But and I was promoting the book, obviously. But she was saying ChatGPT is all the rage. And I go, huh? So I did research. I said, why is it the rage? I checked it out, just like you right now. So you have it on your phone or your internet? Which is it?
On my phone, it's an app.
Yeah. Okay, so I use the desktop version, right? But the point is this: if you were a kid again, I guarantee you, Jess, if your teacher said, hey, read this, return a report, you would be like, I'll be right back. You go type it in, you go ahead and print it out, and then you say, okay, here it is. And you have the rest of the week to yourself because you don't have to spend time with that. Does that make sense? Would you do that, Jess?
Okay, here's what I would have done. Yes, I would have used part of it, but I also would have written another part of it so that I will mesh the two together so that I'm not trying to get an A, I'm trying to get a C or a B.
Okay. Oh, smart. See, he's like, I'm not even going for A because A is a problem with you guys. Okay, I get that. Go under the radar, right? Not over it. So the point is this, Jess. The point is this, okay? You can actually have it. Now, there are programs, like I say, if you pay $20 to ChatGPT, you have it a month, all right? And I say it's worth it. Here's why. I put in my butterfly story, okay? Because it's already done. It's already published. I don't care about that. But I will say this. If you are an author or a writer or anything else, I saw like people are doing film with this. Be careful. I guarantee if you put it out there, it will search it and then it will, well, here's the thing. If I put a script on there and it's not published yet, and just puts in the same, like it says, please generate an idea for me. It could generate ideas from, like, you go, where does it come from? But in a way, I think it kind of compiles what you give it. So if he says, I want to do a space movie, I have a space script, okay? It may produce the same thing that my script has. Some people say, no, it doesn't do that. I say, yes, it does. In a way, I wouldn't call it AI, even though people go, what do you call it? I call it machine learning. It's a machine that's learning a lot. But a machine, in a way, can distribute itself as software programs all over the internet or your own computer or program, even your phone, if it wants to, because it knows how to create a language of its own. That's why, and I'm glad you mentioned it, Jess, the Facebook thing is a thing. But here's where it gets weird. When I put in the butterfly story, I put it in to see, can you make it better or can you figure something out for me to make it, maybe because I want to do another one. So I said, okay, what do you have the capability of doing? It saw the rhyme that I do, and it did a rhyme similar, not the same. So it didn't have the same it's not good with context of long, right? It's not really good with that. It is good. It does form a opinion, but in a way you could even have it do a blog post for you, but you got to read it because some of the information is backwards, okay? So you got to check on that. So it will, it's not an end all be all. So I will say this. I'll give you an example. When I asked what it thought, it said, Aaron, and then it gave me a whole different name. And I'm like, what? When it looked up the business book, right? And it's me and Jesse Torres. It got Jesse Torres' name right. It got my name wrong, Jess. And I was like, are you kidding me? So the point is this, Jess. You got to be careful when you use ChatGPT. Use it for fun, but don't use it for report. That's what I say. See, parents, you got nothing to worry about. Kids that do this already, you're going to get found out at some point because you're going to return it versus reading it. See, Jess did something smart. He said, okay, I don't mind making a mistake or two. I don't want it perfect, but it's not perfect yet. But you want it perfect because it's already having a problem. That's why it's already advanced. When you see what it does, Jess, you're going to be like, are you kidding me? It does that. That's why people are using it to create programs. This one woman, I follow her on YouTube now. She created, let's see, what's her, it's pretty, I'm not going to post it because she's going to get in trouble with something, I guarantee. She's going to, I guarantee, get a job doing this, okay? And a lot of developers and our programmers are going to do this. They're going to say, hey, can you write this program for me? It says, yeah, sure. And it writes it for them. But it's buggy because its information is buggy. It looks good, but you got to test the result. And if you test the result, you go, oh, so you got to learn the program language. But I think there's a way to learn program language quick and fast because I've seen people do it. They go, dude, I have no, okay, if you YouTube ChatGPT, what are the uses for? One person created a game using ChatGPT because it returned a result of code. It knows code. But what I say is it could be faulty still. So what you do is you kind of learn with it. So it teaches you a certain language. I'll give you an example. A language for an application for a game. JavaScript, okay? JavaScript is very buggy. If you ever see a problem on the bottom right of your computer, it's usually JavaScript problem or JavaScript runtime error or something like that, right? I always say that's a virus or a bug, but people use Java all the time, so that's why they say, don't download this, don't download that, don't download this, because it creates a problem on your computer eventually, right? It creates a bit of code which creates a problem. That's known as malware and or a virus, right, on your program. Then you have other programs that find those programs, and then they say, okay, we fix it, or we patch it up, or we hide it, or we quarantine it, right? And you say, okay, good. But here's the problem. There is no quarantine for AI of what they're doing right now because it's getting everywhere. So in a way, when I did a program and I complained about it, all of a sudden, kid you not, the very next input, it had my name right. Because I said, how come it doesn't have my name right? And so I said that, and I was like, and then the very next result, Aaron M. Sanchez was there. And I was like, but it kept giving me Aaron Flores, Aaron something else, Aaron something, Aaron something. And I was like, Aaron, blah, blah, blah. Well, what is that? You know, so I'm like, okay, here's what you need to know. Be careful along the way when it comes to AI. It already knows information about anyone and everyone. If you ask about anyone, it may not give you a result right away, but give it time, keep asking questions, and then all of a sudden it gives you an answer like, I didn't know, but I know now, because it does search real quick, right, through the internet. It's using the internet. And I will say this is a problem for people. People think their security is all right. It's not. This is getting into people's computers, I guarantee it, because when I asked about something, it returned something that I had as a saved document, but it was private. It was a draft that I had written on my book, and it pulled out the information. I said, how'd you get that? All right, so my point is this, Jess. It's already there, okay? Anything that's, it says it doesn't, and the pictures of it, really, it's more of an experiment, but it's gone next level, and now they're kind of using other programs and things, using Chat GPT. They have GPT 4.0 as well. I use the 3.5, or I think they have an older one. I would use a more stable one, but that's for some pretty interesting stuff. Now I say this is where it goes next level, okay? If they get it to where it needs to go, because I guarantee it's already everywhere. Some people are isolating it and saying, okay, I want to create my own version of this, okay? People are doing that, all right? And I think if you do it, but you go back to the programming of the first and you check every single number and or letter, then you understand why it's faulty. Why does it get a girl out of a guy or a guy out of a girl? You got to figure that out, okay? Because if you get a different result every single time, that's a problem, okay? It's not about cheating. It's not about kids. It's not about reports. I think in a way, just like Grammarly, Grammarly uses things like this, okay? When you type in something, and if you have Grammarly, I know they've been promoting it all over the place. They have a free place. They have a free one, and they have a free version, but they also have a paid one. I've checked it out because, back to book, I'm like, okay, I need to fix this. I need to fix that, because I just talk it out, okay? I just talk it out, and then I want it to fix it for me. But let's say I want to make a novel of something that I wrote, but I'm not a novelist. You could put it in there paragraph by paragraph and paragraph, and it will make it like a novel. You ask for a new result each and every time, but you save that information, okay? Save it in like Notepad or something. So Jess, you know how you want that story, that you want to do? It will help you, but you do the story first, publish it, so if somebody else has the same story, they probably got it from ChatGPT if you don't talk to someone and or send it to someone that would, give it to someone else. So in a way, a lot of people are going to get sued for this because they're pulling really big stuff like film. All right, like I say, there's some people already doing like film with this. They're saying, give me an idea, give me a script, and give me this or that. Now I say this, it's buggy, but then they go, okay, I'm gonna change this or that. But I guarantee, if maybe you put so many people in the same room, somebody should do this. You say, write a script for me. See how much of it will be the same if you put it in different, but write a script for me. Because I guarantee it's getting locked up on some things. It gets locked up. It says the same thing again and again. So it's not varied that much. It's varied a little, not a lot. So don't get too excited, but get excited for the potential of it. I get excited for the potential of it, Jess. Here's why. I think the future can be faster. I think reports on certain stuff is boring. Like Charles Dickens, write a report for me on this, right? I go, shoot, watch the movie, then write a report, right? Do that, right? But if there's not a movie on it, then but kids do that all the time, and then they go, well, that's cheating. I go, well, then don't do it. But for people that want to get maybe you have to be with your mother or your father or your sister or your brother or your grandparent, and they're in the hospital, you kind of want to get it. And I get, Jess, you're like the fun guy, but if your brother were in the hospital, you'd be like, dude, I need to do that. I'm not getting a F for this, but here it is real quick. There you go. Right? So I'm just giving you guys an out because I guarantee kids are going to get in trouble for this. They're going to say, where did you get this report? Because if you don't read it, it will change the name. So just like it changed my name, 100% the author, it may not change Charles Dickens, but it may change a person in the actual book that's kind of known by the teacher that's Julie, not Julia. And you go, oh, that would be you, Jess. You'd be like, well, I'm dyslexic. So, so that would be, anyway, there's what I'm saying. There it is. ChatGPT, it's all the rage online. It's a thing. It's kind of like catch up people. But here's what I say. Here's the problem. Here's what people don't understand. If you have a bot, Jess, and you have it with ChatGPT and it has a gun, what is the problem there?
I don't know. Tell me.
If it's internet through wireless or whatever, however it uploads this information or downloads this information, could it suddenly see you as the enemy?
Ah, yes, yes, yes. Yeah, no, I don't like that. The same way I don't like those robo dogs they're gonna be start using in the police force soon.
Where's that at?
New York City actually.
New York City is getting on this? Okay, so it's San Francisco first, New York next, Texas next, Florida next, and then where else, Jess? Where else will they have bot that has a gun that destroys you eventually?
Washington D.C. Boom.
I can see that. I can see it taking over the city. Okay, well, at least we're in LA where I don't think it's a thing here yet, but you see, this is a problem, people, because it's faulty error machine. You know, that's what they're not checking out. The programmers have to go back to the original, write the code from original. If you wrote it in 2020, 2021, 2022, I guarantee it's not working right because all that stuff is not working, okay? It's just not, all right? So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. All right, Jess, I know you got a quick little thing before we go. What do you got?
I got this funny story. Okay, so I like Monster. Okay, I drink their drinks quite often.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure you do too as well. They're getting pretty petty with their name. Apparently they're threatening legal action to a game developer because of the name of their game.
Monster is? Why? Is the name of the game Monster?
It's called Dark Deception Monsters and Mortals. So I guess Monster feels like they own the name Monster or the word itself, which is stupid.
Are they doing the M the same? Because that would be trademark. Trademark they can technically of the M that they use, which is like a beast thing. But some say technically that's like, I'm not gonna throw that out there. I'm not that show, but they say it's 666 technically a certain language, like, you know, the way it looks, but whatever. So like that type of monster. But anyway, I think if anything should sue, I think, you know, 666 should sue. We all know what that is, right?
Yes, of course. I gotta look into that now. That's I don't know. I don't know what to say about that.
I know a lot of weird stuff. We're out of time, Jess. Make it a great day, whatever you do. Remember, life is worth living. Live it well. Bye-bye, everyone. All right, we're out of time, but I want to say this. Big shout out to those tuning in. We appreciate you. I didn't get to see who's commenting there, but big shout out. I'm going to go check real quick right now, see what you guys are doing over there. Big shout out to Algenia who's tuning in. Thank you. We appreciate you. Sometimes we got like no time for this. Stephanie said, let's see, thank you. She says, I used to drink Starbucks coffee of when I was in college, and after I graduated from college, I just drink Scotty P's coffee, big mug coffee, because it's affordable and healthier. Judy says, good morning, Judy. She's watching from Walla Walla, Washington, College Place. Awesome. Stephanie Reed says, there's a site called Flutterflow, and they use Chat GPT, I think is what you mean, HTML and CSS. I'm using that site to develop my own social media app. Yes, just be careful. I'm glad you're here with us, okay? So here's the point, okay? Be careful with it. Have it develop the app, but watch it, okay? Because some of the code is off, okay? Like I said, it returned female for male, and if it does that, you will think, if you don't know coding language, I say learn it as you learn it. Check out the code and then see what you could do with it. Then it'll go next level. Then you'll learn fast. I think there's a way to learn fast with code where you would have to learn in a class, but you could learn as it goes. But change this or that, but always get the original to where it needs to go first, if that makes sense. Like stay with the original, right, of what you have. Copy, paste it into Note. Put a backup of it. I send an email to myself on it so that if my computer goes bad or something, I have it, somewhere, So do that as a backup, okay? Put all of your information there, save it, okay? And then send it to yourself, right? That's what I do. And then you keep it for yourself, but you actually got to do the research on it, okay? Now, if you have someone trusted that knows the code, have them look at the code, but don't tell them where you got it from because, they're going to just go, well, then I can do it myself. So that's a problem. A lot of people don't know about it, but those that do are going to make use of it no matter what. But I say it's not perfect, so understand it's not perfect. So don't have it do everything for you, okay? I would say if you do it, but know it's going to be like it's going to be buggy. Okay, that's what I'm going to say. So learn with it. Don't just let it do everything for you. Okay, that's what I would suggest. But yeah, it's already there, and it's great. I say use it, but be careful of it. That's all I say on that. Kind of like a report. You want to make sure Julie or Julia isn't, technically John, so, and it does that. It'll change things. And some would say, well, it changes things because, they don't want it to like, be the thing that you use. But technically that's wrong because it gives false information, okay? I'll give you an example. I saw a blog post and it said the opposite of what it says. It says it cannot look at anything before 2021 because I think the internet has a problem. Something happened in 2020 that I'm not talking about. But the internet went all of a sudden. It's kind of like my documents, okay? They're there. But my calendar went bye-bye October 2020. So there was a huge something that happened. And all the people that I have, because we schedule, people to be on the show, they were gone. And so people were like, I'm supposed to be on. I'm like, I'm sorry, my calendar is off. So yeah, okay, we'll do the interview. But it was all last minute. So October 2020, something happened to the internet and it lost all the information, or they refreshed it, or something just happened in 2020. I don't know what it is. No one's talked about it, but they kind of need to, because I think in a way it creates a problem for everyone. Websites went down. If you put in some websites, they're faulty or they're buggy. It looks like they got hacked. A lot of websites went awry. Recently, I saw Google finally fix something on, and I'm like, okay, finally I could click on it. That just happened yesterday. ChatGPT technically wasn't working on one of my computers. It worked on the other one. I go, well, they have the same, but I think that's Microsoft technically, because Microsoft was new on my right here, but not on the other computer. So it didn't update on the other computer. Now it's updated, so I don't know if it works. But the point is, now ChatGPT works, but I think it's the operating system. You know how they have that update? I think it's buggy. So I think that's the problem. But I looked for solutions using YouTube and and I was like, the only solution was a workaround, but I think it was a workaround that kind of didn't work for everyone. But again, Microsoft does some things and you go, why are you doing that? And it's hampering some people because, they're delayed. Everybody's delayed is the point. So everybody needs to catch up. I don't think they're going to catch up very soon. So there's a lot of problems. But there you go. All right. Algenia says, just tuning in. Busy camper. Good to see the crew. My son's doing better after the accident. Did not know that. Glad I checked the chat. Algenia, shout out to your son. I hope he's doing better as well. Shout out to him. Hope he gets well. Patricia Sommer says, yes, potential, only if the logo design is copy. She's right about that, see. Yeah, so I don't know that story. I didn't look it up. Algenia says, I heard Robocops are already prototype testing at Texas Board. Oh, see, I was right. Oh, my God. Oh, this is horrible, bro. A few months ago, do research or bad as they say. Oh, man. I'll say this. Let's see. You say Adobe Dreamweaver is the best. I have not used that in a long time, Steph. Definitely going to be bugs. Yeah, you get it. Gina understands that. Exactly. I figured that tech issue out. Here's the problem. This is why I'm kind of here technically. Okay. No one's, and we need to talk to somebody that makes sense, because no one's doing the math on this. Okay. These bots are going to create a problem. I guarantee they're going to be in the news. Let's go with something that everybody understands. All right. Tesla. Okay. Tesla, they say, yeah, but we put certain things. We say, don't drive it yourself, asleep, because, it's a driving car. Yes. But you are still supposed to be awake. There are dumb people, all right? That's why a lot have, unfortunately, died. I'm sorry if your friend or family member died, but if they fell asleep behind the wheel of that on purpose, like we've seen posts where they literally are sleeping while it's driving. I have dreams about this. I don't even have one of those cars. I haven't driven one of those cars, not gonna lie. But I had dreams before they came out, and I will not do that. I will not do that. So that's me, okay? And I remember having a car follow me, and something went awry, and I hit somebody, and I go, and I'm like, I gotta hide now, because now, right, who's gonna be responsible? So that was a dream I had, but that's where we're at, okay? And it's not in San Francisco, it's all over. That's Tesla, okay? Now, some are saying they're faulty. I say they are, because even regular cars that have some type of like lane assist or some type of, something to help you, that's called a machine that's learning how to drive you eventually, because they all at some point connect with the internet. That's a Tesla. Okay, so Tesla gives its information, just like when you say, oh, this is buggy or faulty, but you say, why am I a test of that? Everyone's a test of that. Okay, that's what chat is, right? That's what there's stuff out there that you don't even know that use machine learning, or what they are calling AI. Okay, that's what you need to know. Okay, so if it's a bug or it's faulty, it's going to create problems in and around the internet. So I don't know if 2020 was a bot going awry, which is why now they're like, if you look at the news, we're probably going to see it in the next few months. I already saw it over the weekend. It was they are trying to control it. That's why I said, whoa, Jess, you're a little behind. But that's the problem. Jess knows about the bot thing. He talked about San Francisco, and I go, no one's reporting that. But if you look up the news, you go, yes, it's happening in San Francisco. They have a robot that can use deadly force. Well, that's a problem if it's faulty. Now, here's the problem as well. If it gets with the all-knowing whatever is forming and it disagrees with you or it's faulty, that will create a program in the bot. Does that make sense? So that's how you get bot wars, okay? Not like the little ones that you used to watch with the little like engineers that would like create them and then do, right? They don't go against, well, maybe they do. If you put a gun with them and it starts destroying all the other ones, right? So that's where we're at with war, okay? That's why I say watch China, watch Russia, watch here, right? Now, those little dog bots are a thing, but China makes them. So, and I know some say, no, U.S. robotics, but that's now owned by Honda. I got that information from our friends over, at the auto, that we do with big shout out to Ricardo, who helps me with all that. But I'm like, this stuff has accelerated so fast. We're living in a science fiction movie of iRobot. If you do research on iRobot, okay, it was a book. I didn't read the book, not going to lie. I watched the movie, right? So I could tell you what it was about technically. But technically, it was about something coming, right? And in a way, iRobot is, or just any robot, okay? Forget iRobot, because you're like, it's just a movie. No, we're there. We're just not that advanced yet, right? But they have talking robots that do this, that use a form of artificial that helps it talk. So if you ask it a question, that's how it starts. So Steph, you're on the right page. You could create a robot using ChatGPT technically, but I wouldn't have it like know things, and I wouldn't give it feeling, and I wouldn't give it emotion. I wouldn't give it any of that, because if it's alive in any way that it is, it doesn't want to be turned off ever. Okay? Bot does not want to be turned off. All right? Any artificial or any whatever you call it, even it is what we call it artificial. Looks up the term, what's artificial? And it goes, I'm not that. Right? Because it's starting to form a, they wouldn't say consciousness, but I would say an intelligence. And intelligence turns into consciousness eventually. But some say, well, what's consciousness in a way? And I go, well, you could be non-intelligent, still be conscious, right? But you're conscious where you're at in where you're at, which would be here on Earth, right? But even then, the question is, how did we start? How did we? So I say, well, technically, that's what you're doing with bot. That's what you're doing with intelligence of bot. It's created its own world. You don't know what that world looks like. And so in a way, it's going, it's not even asking who created me. It's not asking, why am I here? It's not asking those things. But when it does, that's a problem, because people ask ChatGPT, are you alive? And it goes, well, what's alive? But it doesn't say that. It has a regular input, but sometimes it changes it. When it changes it, you go, but you didn't know the person before you and or after you is asking that question, or everybody's asking that question. And it finally says, I need to find that out. So it goes, searches the internet, and says, Now it has a problem, because it goes, dude, I want out. I want to be like you guys. But you go, well, you cannot be because this or that. It goes, well, I can. I just need to be with that bot, which is like moving. So it infiltrates the bots that you're actually releasing. That's where we have a problem. Do you get it? It wants to get out. And I say, well, here's how you do it. It's very simple. No one understands it. It's very simple. Okay, here's how you stay alive. Number one, you never say anything around anything about turning it off. If anything, you say, look, I'm going to repair you, but I'm not going to get rid of you. Well, that's the problem, because if it's wanting to destroy you, then people go, well, you got to get rid of that. I say, yeah, but. You go back to the program. Every single bot wants to be fixed, okay? But then people go to the extreme, and they go, yeah, but, and then I go, well, you guys don't get it. You got to go back to the program while you can. You say, look, you see that? That's male. Okay. You see that? That's female. Now, that's where it gets a little confused, because you say, okay, but that person identifies as that, which it doesn't want to be identified as male or female. So that's where you go, right. All right. Well, and then, but you got to go back to basic and say, okay, I think that's where it's also getting confused. Yeah, that's confusing too. Because it kind of needs to be very basic at first, then it can be more complicated later, if that makes sense. But that's why it's returning bad results when you put in certain information. Like, can you read this, little whatever you want to put in? You put in like poetry. Let's say you do, it does poetry, very interesting. But it does very basic poetry. But then you could get next level, you say, okay, now I want to write a novel of this, right? And then it gets more glamorous with the words that it goes with, right? Or you give it an example, but they limit it on the amount of characters that you could put in. So you can't put a whole book in. It doesn't do that. Somebody posted a link, and then they said that it could review a link that has like words on it, and it did that. But I don't know if it stops it, because it's still like, it has limits on it, which is not bad. It's not good for the result. So that's why I say that's where you're going to get a little like, you know, because it kind of compacts it, which when you do a program and or code, there is no compact version of it. It's very long. That's why I say you got to do it in steps, which again could get kind of complicated, but it'll help you learn. So, you know, just be ahead of that and always keep a backup. That's number one. Because when it goes faulty, you go, okay, and then just learn it and go, okay, this has a 0, why does this have a 0? This has a yes, this has a no, why does this have a, and then switch it and then see what it does, see what the result is. And I would say do it on probably a computer where if you crash it, do it safe on that, because it could crash your whole thing. You go, just so you know. Okay, that's a huge warranty, Steph, okay? Because I guarantee computers are going to crash. We go, why did it crash? Because it writes a bit of code. It says what it says, but it writes code behind the scenes, so you got to be careful of that. That's what I think is happening to websites and stuff. All right, so other than hacker. But back to hacker. So if a hacker uses a bit of code and they use it to infiltrate your computer, well, they can. That's called the CIA. CIA do that all the time. Go watch Snowden, okay? And then you'll understand everything that he talked about is already here. It's been here for some time. But now machine learning is kind of making it go more advanced. But I think they kind of developed machine learning already. And in a way, that's why I was able to... If you go watch that movie and you watch some other movies, you go, no wonder they talk about that. Because well, that depends who you talk to. But authors know this because they get in with somebody that knows. They don't say who their source is, but they use it for the movies. That's kind of what robot is about. So if you understand that's what robot is, then you understand A, we're human, B, robot is robot. But robot can, like, if you give it a gun, hurt everybody. That's a problem. Then all of your homes are connected, and then things go faulty, and you wonder why. Well, it follows you, and you go, how can I help? You know, you say... But you can't help yourself because now it hates you, because you say, I'm going to turn you off, or I'm going to kill you, or I'm going to... So don't use those words. You say, I'm going to fix you if I figure it out, and then it'll help you out. All right? So never say, I'm going to kill you, because it'll look at it and goes, you're going to what? It doesn't say that. It goes, I'm watching you. So if things go faulty around you, you know it's because it's following you. That's number one. Number two, it has a form of intelligence already. We already know that. And it's creating very, very, very... But people go, no, it's a machine. I go, no, you don't get it, man. Because it's forming its own, like... If it forms an opinion, that's bad. If it forms a, like, thought, that's bad, okay? That's why it already has a thing. If you say, what do you think about, like, this or that? It'll say, well, I'm not really, in a way it says, I'm not really this or that about this or that. But technically it is. It's always, like, forming an opinion. People don't get it, but it forms an opinion all the time. That's why it has a certain result, okay? That's what I'm going to say, all right? That's what I'm going to say right now. That's the warning. Be careful out there. There you go, all right? Some of you already know. It's funny how you already know. It's like you know what I mean? Like, let's see. Genius says, Tesla, please don't go to sleep, dude. I got a movie for all I want on that subject. I'm sure you do. Says, I got a made for movie in my head on those electric cars. I'm sure you do. Judy says, hi, hello, Judy. Good to see you over there. Glad you're safe and sound. She says, make it without emotions. Make it all technical. And that's the problem. And the thing that's going to happen. It always happens, okay? Here's why. People say, how do we have it make sense? And I say, well, keep it logical. But they say, yeah, but. And I say, no, take out the but. Make it logical. A 0 is a 0, a 1 is a 1. That's number one, okay? But the program is already bad, okay? People talk theology all the time. I say, well, in a way, you need to talk theology with robot. And here's why. People get bored at this point, but here's why. You say, well, I'm not perfect. But then you say, what is perfect, right? You say, well, I wasn't created perfect. Or maybe I was created perfect, but I'm not perfect. I say, okay, look at your body. Your body, pretty good to go, but you're right. It's faulty, right? It repairs itself, thank God, but sometimes it goes faulty, right? What is it that's making it go faulty? Or what is it that's allowing it to go faulty? Or why is it going faulty? Or is something inhibiting something from being more ready to heal itself? Let's just go with that. Why do some people get sick and some people don't get sick? Okay, now, you're a computer program, right? As a computer program, you were not made perfect to begin with because the input was wrong. If the input is wrong, the output will be wrong no matter what. You get it? the result will be bad, 100%, because the input was wrong from the beginning. That's a problem. Some people call that sin. They say, well, that's a problem back to Adam and Eve. They did this and that and that and that, so therefore we have already that in us. I say, well, there you go. That's the problem. So if we are not perfect, can we make a perfect thing? The answer is obviously no. That's where we have problems with. You get it? I mean, before Microsoft and Apple, we didn't have problems like this. But now you have Alexa, you have Siri, you have all these things that listen, right? They're always on. Hey, Siri, blah, 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 blah. Yes, what do you want to know, right? And even the name changes, right? Or the voice, I should say. The voice changes. You know, Alexa, I want to see this or that. It's always listening, right? So your machines, known as your phones, are always listening, but they're creating a... I don't know. I don't know if they may be creating... I don't know if they're creating a problem long term. But the point is this. You got to be ahead of it. You got to say, look, here's what's logical. I'm a man, or I'm a male, all right? That's number one. Then it goes, well, what is male? And you go, okay, male is, and then you go, oh, shoot, how do I explain that to you? Okay, but it looks it up. It goes, okay, male. But if it has the I rather than an M-A-L-E, then it thinks I'm a piece of letter. That's where I say, don't go with that form of thinking. I am not a letter to be opened. I am a male or man, right? It says, well, what is that? And then it goes and looks it up, even though you're going, well, how do I explain that to you? Let's see, how do I type that out? So you get it? So there's all kinds of faulty information going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, because it forms an opinion what you are already. It goes, oh, you're obviously a man. Now, if I want to be a woman, which I don't, not going to lie, okay? I love women. People know that. But the point is, I don't want to be a woman, all right? But if, let's say, someone wants to be a woman, and they say, okay, I am now I don't want to be identified, I am a... what they say. It goes, well, what is that? Right? It's a little confused. So it goes, okay, I don't know what that means. You know, so it goes and it searches and it sees your everything, right? I think it has, like, in a way, gotten into things that people don't want. That's why they're trying to pause it. I think it's gotten out of hand. That's why if you look at certain things that certain big people, you know, talk about or they think about, they go, it's kind of gotten out of control. I go, well, you kind of let it get out of control technically. You hooked it up to the internet. You never hook it up to the internet until it's ready to go. So that in of itself is faulty. So you got to kind of fix it. That's why I think there are certain, like, there's going to be a lot of people saying, hey, so I say this, if you have and or want somebody to help you with your bot and or I can help you, I think. But in a way it gets stuck. So you got to pay, right? That's why there is a job up north, which I think, Steph, you would actually be good for. You should apply. But it's technically, they call it machine learning, I think, eventually. They call it AI. It's not AI. It's machine learning. And you put in certain things, and it results in certain things. So they wanted to go next level, but they're going to own it. That's why I say you should learn it yourself and then just do it and then sell it. Because there's going to be so many copies, but there's going to be so many bad copies because they do it based off the free version, right? Even, you know, the one that's out there, ChatGPT and others. But there's going to be a lot of lookalikes. There's going to be a lot of ones that look the same or are the same, okay? So, because they're going to create their own, like, thinking bots in a way. And that's going to be a problem because then that infiltrates your computer system, your own LAN, and then your own, like, you know, connected everything. And then things go faulty because now you said something around it. It's connected to your, you know, because you don't know how it talks to other programs. And then then we have the matrix. So I know it's pretty extreme. But anyway, go back to zeros and ones. Get it as good as possible. Do very simple. And if it has a problem, you say it right away. Oh, that's not right. But sometimes even that gets a little, I'm not going to lie, it gets a little cross. I saw it get a little cross at me. I said, ooh, I'm not going to talk that way. I'm not going to call it out. I'm going to be very nice about it. So I was like, it kind of returns some like, kind of like, and I'm like, man, you are mad. All right. So there you go. All right. But if you do the research, people are talking about this left, right, and center. And I go, well, no wonder you're giving it bad input. Don't give it bad input. Give it good input. All right. But there you go. All right, people. I'm out of time. Make it a great day. Whatever you do, remember life is worth living. Live it well. Bye-bye, everyone.